walking through a city street, you could be in Peru, and you'll hear a distant calling, and you know it's meant for you. Then you'll drop what you were doing, and you'll join the merry mob, and before you know just where you are, you're in an Irish pub. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too. They got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a boat, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Now the design is fairly simple, and it usually works the same. You'll have Razorhoughton scoring in the Ireland-England game, and you'll know you're in an Irish pub the minute you're in the door. For a couple of boys with ballrooms, he'll be murder and crusty more. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too. They got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a point, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Now the owner is Norwegian, the manager comes from Cork, and the lad that's holding up the bar says only Egypt's work. He was born and bred in Bolton, but his mammy's from Kildare, and he's going to make his fortune soon and go to County Clare. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too. They got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a fight, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Here we go! Now it's time for me to go, I'll have to catch me train. So I leave you sitting at the bar and face the wind and rain. But I'll have that pint you owe me if I'm not gone on the dry, when we meet next week in Frankfurt in the fields of Athenry. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too. They got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a point, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too. They got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a fight, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Oh, she dressed in the dark, and she whispered amen. She was pretty in pink like a young girl again. 20 years married, and she never thought twice. She slipped out of the back door and into the night. And silver wings carry her over the sea, from the west coast of Ireland to West Tennessee. To be with her sweetheart, she'd left everything. She went from Galway to Graceland to be with the king. She was humming Suspicion, the song she loved best, and she had Elvis, I love you, tattooed on her breast. And when they landed in Memphis, her heart beat so fast. She had dreamed for so long now she'd see him at last. And she knelt by his graveside day after day, and come closing time they would pull her away. To be with her sweetheart, she left everything. She went from Galway to Graceland to be with the king. In their thousands they came from the whole human race, just to pay their respects at his last resting place. But blindly she knelt there, and she told him her dreams, and she thought that he answered her. Oh, that's how it seemed. And when they dragged her away, it was handcuffs this time. She said, my dear man, are you out of your mind? Don't you know that we're married? See him wearing his ring. I've come from Galway to Graceland to be with the king. I've come from Galway to Graceland to be with